there is no barrier of entry to reading and writing. Like,
Wrong. Hold on. I need to fix this. Hi, my name is Steph. I've been an educator for close to a decade, and let me tell you about, from my first-hand experience, why this is completely not true. Now, I teach in the United States, and I know that content creator is not based in the States. But at least here, we are in crisis mode. According to 2024 statistics, about a quarter of the entire country is on a lower Lexile level. Your Lexile level is a medium score that determines your level of vocabulary fluency and media literacy. And on average, across the United States, about 60% of adults are at a 6th grade reading level. Here are the barriers that are a factor to that. In 2024, over 10,000 books were banned in schools and in libraries, and that's up from the over 3,000 in 2023. There are some libraries in our country where children are not allowed to access without an adult present, and censorship by exclusion is an action here in which books that might be deemed inappropriate or controversial are just moved to less accessible areas of the library so that children may not come across them. Book fairs are not as common now as they used to, and when they do happen, districts who are hosting the book fairs to be able to determine what books will be appropriate for their student body. Meaning that if a parent contests anything by a BIPOC author or a marginalized voice that's different from theirs, they can just tell them not to have it at the book fair. School funding here is directly tied to property taxes and the taxes of the individuals that live in that district. Wealthier towns have more access to writing utensils, paper, literacy programs, but towns that don't have that much money or are not as wealthy are just out of luck. And as someone who grew up in inner city schools and also works in inner city schools, having a copy of a book for every student is like having gold. So no, not everybody has the same access to books and the same access to a pen or pencil. But even if they did, just because they are not aware of the value of those things because they're not in a space that values knowledge, is very tone deaf to put that on them because that's not the reality of a lot of people's situation. Also, everybody learns differently. And a lot of that funding also affects the way that special education programs are run. So what we don't need is to be making blanket statements that anybody can just learn to read and write. We need to be using the knowledge that we have to think critically about how we can help.